Hey everybody, welcome back to our 2023 reviews, and today we will continue on with the Ottawa Senators today. So, the Senators were a team that made a lot of big offseason moves, and they were really hyped up to be a really good team, and then that really didn't happen in the first start of the year. But anyways, let's get into their overall record. They went 39, 35, and 8 for 86 points. They had a .524 win percentage. They scored 261 goals and let in 271, which adds up to a minus 10 overall. They were 24, 14, and 3 at home, and 15, 21, and 5 on the road. So, of course, look, this is the year where Ottawa was very hyped up, and they were supposed to take that next big step. And the start of the year, they didn't. This has kind of been a repeat of previous years where they'll start off the year absolutely terrible, and then they'll go on a tear the second half, but still be in too deep of a hole to make the playoffs. So that's really what's happened this year with Ottawa, and I do think that heading into next season, there's going to be a lot of questions. Let's get into this here. Their month-by-month record, they went 4-4-0, 500 month, not too bad. Then they went 4-9-1, and this always happens in the month of November. It's happened so many times in the month of November with the Ottawa Senators. They'll start off the year bad, and I made a video on the DJ Smith and asking the question if they should fire DJ Smith, and then even later on in the year, I made a video talking about could they make the playoffs? So my rhetoric changed very quickly. But I looked at previous years with DJ Smith, and every single year this guy has been the coach, he started off the year badly. So that's really something you got to look into and take into consideration and be like, well, this guy keeps on, making us lose games to start off the year. Should we really keep him as our coach? And I'm kind of wondering that, if, the Senators really want to do that heading into next season. I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. They went 8-4-2 in December, so they came back in that month. They went 8-6-0 in January, 6-3-1 in February. Then they kind of went to that part of the year where it looked like they didn't want to make the playoffs enough, where they were close, but they just weren't close enough. 7-7-1 in March, and then in April they were 2-2-3. So the end of the year was kind of mediocre for Ottawa. But there were some bright spots this year. I will say that there were some bright spots that made me really think, well, this team definitely does have a bright future 100%. And then, of course, I would like to mention that the buying bids for the team are currently still going on. There's still some stuff talking about that, whether or not, there's another guy involved, but he might be broke, so there's some really weird stuff going on there, and there's really a lot of uncertainty with the Ottawa Senators ownership. I might make a video on it. I was actually considering it. I think I'm going to eventually. Probably when the season starts dying down. We're at the finals now, so the finals are close now. So I'll probably start making that in the near future. You look at their leading scorers. You got Tim Stützle at number 1, and this guy signed an 8-year contract at the beginning of the season, and he has looked great for Ottawa. 78 games played, 39 goals, 51 assists for 90 points. I thought Stützle all around had a really good season. He was carrying some of the players on his line. And really now, offense is not the problem for Ottawa. I think it might be, depth might be a little bit of an issue, but defense and goaltending, I think you got to play those factors in there too. But I don't think offense really is the problem anymore because they have some really good players on this team. I'm going to say Matthew Tkachuk. Got Florida on the brain. Brady Tkachuk, 82 games played, 35 goals, 48 assists, 83 points. I thought Brady Tkachuk had another really good year as well. Obviously, that physical player. I thought he played well with Ottawa this season. There's no doubt about that. And helped them pretty well towards the end of that playoff push. Claude Giroux, and you're going to see a lot of new acquisitions here. Giroux, God bless him. I miss him. 82 games played, 35 goals, 44 assists, 79 points. Had yet again another really good year. Had his 1,000th point with the Ottawa Senators, and I was really proud of that. And it's just crazy to think that as well as that, too. He's played 100 games since leaving the Flyers. Sad. Alex DeBrincat up next for the Ottawa Senators. Almost said Blackhawks. I'm still can't get used to it. 82 games played, 27 goals, 39 assists, 66 points. There were points this year where he struggled to score. I think come next year, I think they will definitely factor that in, and maybe DeBrincat will have a much better year next year. I think he will. I think he's a good enough player that he will. Derick Batherson was 5th in scoring, 82 games played, 22 goals, 40 assists, 62 points. I thought Batherson had a really solid season, another really solid young player, and I thought he played well throughout stretches. Thomas Chabot, and there was talk in the beginning of the season when they were not playing so well that we need to stop giving Thomas Chabot so much time, and they need to acquire another big blue liner, which we'll get into in a second here. But yeah, Chabot, 68 games played, 11 goals, 30 assists, 41 points. So obviously there he missed 22 games. So that's something you got to take into consideration there when you look at his stat line. But yeah, you can't keep giving him big time on the blue line. I know he's a great player, he's a great defenseman, but a guy like him, like, you need other defenders. You can't just rely on one guy like him, because you're eventually going to wear and tear him down. And it's shown in other players too. When you do that, then their careers don't last as long. PK Subban, prime example. Then he got Shane Pinto. We got a rookie here, 82 games played, 20 goals, 15 assists for 35 points. I thought Pinto had a really good year. And I think that, he was just barely outside of the Calder consideration. He definitely deserves some because I thought he played well with Ottawa this year and bounced back from a pretty rough injury. Jake Sanderson lodged up some time on that blue line. Actually played pretty well, and that's a positive there with Thomas Chabot, definitely. 77 games played, 4 goals, 28 assists for 32 points. Thought Sanderson had a really solid year. Derick Brassard, 62 games played, 13 goals, 10 assists, 23 points. And then Travis Hamonic, 75 games played, 6 goals, 15 assists for 21 points. So obviously there were some offensive players there in that top 10. Most notable is Josh Norris that wasn't there. Norris faced a lot of injuries this season. If he can play a full season, or at least even play over half, I think Ottawa makes the playoffs next year. They're so deep down the middle that they're really looking like to be that good team, 100%. You look at goaltending, and goaltending was argued by Senators fans to be the big problem this offseason. You look at Cam Talbot, 36 games played, 17, 14, and 2, a 2.93 goals against average, and a .898 save percentage. Thought Talbot had a really solid year in net for Ottawa. But there were points this year where I was like, no, not good. But there were points where he looked solid, but he's gone. He's 100% gone. He was a big problem this year. It's already been announced that he's not coming back. But he had some solid points, but he looked shaky at times. Anton Forsberg, 28 games played, 11, 11, and 2, a 3.26 goals against average, and a .902 save percentage. He might stay as the backup for Ottawa. He probably does. I think Ottawa might look at some of the players and some of the goalies that could be on the trade market this offseason and think about making a deal. I feel like this is the year where we're going to see a lot of trades be involved with the Ottawa Senators for sure. You look at their trades to end off this season. Tyler Mott to the New York Rangers, Nikita Zaitsev to the Chicago Blackhawks, and then, of course, as well as that too, they acquired Jacob Chychrun, which, if you guys saw that video, I came on here and ranted pretty hard about that. I did not like that deal at all for Arizona, but for Ottawa, it was a great move, and I'm looking forward to Chychrun on the Ottawa Senators this season, or next season, sorry. So yeah, forget this season. This season's done with. Let's look at their future. So draft picks wise, they don't have a lot. Their 12th overall pick went to the Arizona Coyotes. So they only have a 4th, a 5th, and 3 7ths. So they don't have a lot of picks this year, which, is that a bad thing? Not really. I feel like they made the right moves to really solidify themselves to be a really good team next season. So if you don't have a lot of draft picks, it's not a problem. So not a lot of picks coming out of Ottawa. As it goes for free agency and salary cap type stuff, they only have $3 million cap space, but they do have some players that they could look at moving out. That could be, a good idea. And with a guy like Alex DeBrincat, who is on the market, and is an RFA, you do got to look into that. So UFAs, Austin Watson. There's so many Browns. I think it's Josh Brown. I know Logan Brown's on the St. Louis, Connor Brown on the Capitals. And I think I'm right. Derick Brassard, Travis Hamonic, and Nick Holden. They might let go of everyone. Maybe bring back Watson, but I think they let go of pretty much everyone. Try and build a new depth, but they might bring back Brassard or Hamonic. Who knows? Honestly, RFAs, and this is where it gets interesting. You got Alex DeBrincat, you got Dylan Gambrell, Shane Pinto, Dylan Gauthier, and Eric Brandstrom. So keep in mind there, DeBrincat is going to ask for a lot of money. He didn't have the best season in Ottawa. He had a good year, but he didn't have the best year he's had in Ottawa like he's had in years for Chicago. So I think they will wonder about that. Pinto as well, I thought was a solid rookie, so he'll probably get maybe a bridge deal. And that might be what DeBrincat gets to. Maybe he doesn't want to get locked up long term. Maybe he wants to stay as a short term option for Chicago, for Ottawa. And then Eric Branchton there too likely gets a bridge deal as well. Has not yet panned out to be the defender that we thought he was going to be. So yeah, this is the year where they brought in some more of their prospects to develop. They got some new players to help out towards the future. Some of their future players that they have, Tyler Boucher is one of their guys that they selected, I think, 9th overall in 2021. Then they got Ridley Gregg there as well, who did play games this season. If they do move out some of those guys like Brassard and Hamonic, Gregg will get a shot at getting a top 6 role, or maybe not top 6, but a 3rd line, 4th line role this coming season. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on the Ottawa Senators down below. Thank you all for watching. Our next video will be on the Buffalo Sabres. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.